Inning West Bend Mallard game just wrapped up on my dub over here.
You got dubs rolling today?
Yeah. I think it's Bettendorf City High is the second part of this tape coming up here from 2002.
Welcome aboard to the Two Brothers podcast for Wednesday, October 8th, 2025.
Are we live on Facebook and YouTube and things like that? Are you doing that today?
I think so. Usually I'm pretty good about checking on that stuff, and I haven't checked on it. It's just been one of them weeks, one of them days.
Yeah.
Oh, we are live on the old Facebook.
Yeah, we're live.
If you've got us out there in Dave's in Dubland over there. So if you want to say hi via Facebook. Let's see what else we got. We live via YouTube.
You're looking live.
This is Bingham
at St. Petersburg, Florida. All right, what town are you officially in today?
I am in St. Petersburg, Florida today.
How are you officially located? You need to get like a marker under your name that says where you're at. Look, I'm shooting that an old movie back there. That's Bettendorf. I get the old movie filter on the old digital camera from 2002.
I'm trying to get us live.
I'm telling you, we've got so much to get to, but we got a broken arm. We got to go through some of our players. I went back to Pleasantville Friday, so that was great. I do have a picture to prove it, but
you can't get the photos yet. No photos.
Yeah, we had we got some stuff done for one of our jobs we're doing for Bing Bang before the game, so that was cool. We got to see some of the seniors interacting with kindergartners out on the field, and Tara had them going. That was pretty cool. And then we got over to the checkerboard. So Jesse, at some point, has to make an appearance, but he's not going to make an appearance till it's a paid appearance because he only shows up for golf, money, and that's about it. Football, right? Although the guy never gets paid enough anyway. But he has this very strict diet, so he doesn't eat. He's a low carb guy. To keep his girlish figure, but they were just not going to not bring us out onion rings. I mean, we were getting video of the onion rings and we were showing how they were being cooked at the checkerboard. So checkerboard had their 50th, Ryan, Karen, Rhonda, the whole crew. But they just weren't going to let us leave so they brought out the onion rings and he did eat some. So it's official. So
I don't think it's humanly possible to go to the checkerboard and not eat onion rings.
Yeah, it's pretty weird because I don't like onions, but I love their onion rings.
I hate onions. I will not get onions on anything, but
no.
If they brought me a full table under the moose, of onion rings, I would eat the whole table under the moose.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that's weird because I was like, they just brought us out a smaller because I was like, she just wanted us to try them. And I was like, we're not going to eat all those, but he actually kept eating them. So that was pretty cool. But if they had brought out a small order, we'd have ate them all, a large order. So that was a lot of fun. We got back in the kitchen, got to see the pizzas coming out. Ron was great. So it was
Ron Fee just bringing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's hometown week right there.
Definitely hometown week. So I'm excited to see the Pleasantville is video when we get that thing done.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll have to wait till next week for that one. We might have to share that live. Its world premiere might be on the Two Brothers podcast.
Oh, that could be something we do live. The just so excited to go back and actually look at some of it. Jesse and I looked through some of the slow-mo stuff, and we can show you some of that. We'll never ever be able to show all the video that when you go do these projects and you're just like, that's so good, that's so good. You'll never be able to show it all. So I'm excited to go back through it, but we've got a couple other projects I'm editing right now to get those taken care of. So it stinks that you can't just die. I love being able to shoot something and edit it right away. That's why we like doing Friday nights so much. You go out, you're do the first half, edit the highlights, put it together, and but these projects are going to be cool. So that we got a lot of people involved in that. You did a good job of lining people up for that thing.
It's cool when you see just I think the coolest part of what we get to do at Bing Bang is you just see kind of a cross section of whatever the project or brand or the world that we're covering. And it really just makes you proud that we get the chance to do that. But then it's proud of the communities and the brands and things we work with. And so that's definitely one of the things that's kept me doing this crazy world and crazy entrepreneur journey for over 10 years is the people.
Well, the people in our towns in Iowa, right? And to be able, I've always wanted to go to the checkerboard, and and cover, get footage and stuff of it. We really didn't like have it set up, but it was just okay. And of course, Lloyd and Linda Teeter were there. They're reserved at the front table, and he was, of course, telling me about how good Braylon is and how good he knew everything about the team, and
We'll get
how.
to that later. Is Braylon Bingham actually any good? So
Yeah.
other things fun, like, so you got to just kind of over the last month, you've had a tour of Pleasantville again, like a little bit of everything that's fun. There's a new mural going up, like, Pleasantville is happening.
Yeah, and I think a lot of communities and across the state, it's a big deal to be reinvesting in your community and your school. And I think that's something that, we're passionate about, and it's really unique. I think I tell you all the time, it's either you're trying or you're not. It's kind of hard. And it's really weird because when you were in school at Simpson, John Sirianni told me one time, Bing, it's an arms race. Either you're getting after it and you're trying to get better and you're doing special things for your community, or you're not. And that was always hard on him because he had to go out and fundraise, and I actually think he was brilliant at it after a while, but that became more of his job. And that's one of the things that I think it does take reinvestment from the community, and you're seeing that in these small towns. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think, it's interesting in like the Indianolas of the world. It's been cool to see what Simpson's done. It's cool to see what Central's doing. Like those communities, like those colleges are a huge part of what, the lifeblood of those communities and what they do and stand for. And then, good old Pleasantville, we got to do that. But so we'll come back through kind of the Pleasantville roots. We'll hit that with kind of all the fun stuff that you got to cover and everything. But this week, I guess it'd been last Thursday, we had a fun
Hmm.
little Keswick JV game. And in that JV game, Gracen actually made a couple tackles.
Yeah, got in there.
He was in there kind of, but he was not sure. So Cruz Guzman and I think it's Lucas Blacksburg. I don't remember which one's
It's
which.
kind
The
of the
Blacksburg boys at Canterbury are really good baseball players. And whichever one is the freshman or sophomore that was running over Gracen was kind of fun to watch him get ran over all. So I was on the chain gang. So I was like right there. And he went to make a tackle high and tackled this kid and then tried to throw him and then landed like arm and everything, face mask and helmet right to the ground from like 6 feet straight down. And he kind of got up and he was like holding it and flexing it. And I'm like, quit being a wuss. You're fine.
yeah.
Like attack downhill. And then he kind of like came off the field like after that play. And I saw he was over at the trainer, taped it up, and he came back in. He's good to go. And then he goes to school the next day. So he played the rest of the game, goes to school the next day. And he's like, dude, I can't catch a basketball. Like they were playing basketball in like team sports or PE or whatever they have. And he couldn't like make a move or anything. And I was like, yeah, let's go throw a bullpen. If you can catch
Yeah.
a bullpen, like you're set. So let's go throw a bullpen. So he's like, I can't. And so then Angel made me take him to the doctor, which is probably smart. So we didn't end up on like some, list for child neglect. And so then he went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, I can't do x-rays here, but you got to go downtown and you can do x-rays. But I'm pretty sure it's broken. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's good. So we went downtown, had x-rays. And so they called it like a bucket or buckle fracture. It's like right here in his wrist and
Yeah.
arm. And so he's now, I guess I can show you that like we snuck in Monday morning with Dr. Drew Warnick, who's a Keswick guy, got a Keswick family, and so here's Gracen taking Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield's spot, getting his cast before they got in to get
They
anything
weren't
done.
back from Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't quite back yet, so he was able to sneak in at 9 a.m. Monday morning. Dr. Warnick got him in, got him taken care of. But here's Dr. Warnick after he gets his cast on. And then Dr. Warnick's daughter, Lana, is in Gracen's class. So Dr. Warnick signed Lana rules Dr. Drew. So that was pretty cool. And so Gracen was like, he's just embarrassed as all get out. And Dr. Drew had like his whole team around as he's doing it, which was fun. And so just a couple dad jokes inside of all of that between me and Dr. Drew. And so then I don't know who was more embarrassed, Gracen then or Lana, by the time he got to school. But
Yeah.
So Lana didn't see it the day of. She's like the smartest kid in the world in the
Right,
class.
she's brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, so she was at some smart kid thing that they had that day, which Gracen was not there. But then the next day she got to see it, and Gracen said she was pretty embarrassed, but pretty fun. He's been handling it pretty well. I thought he'd be pretty dejected, pretty down and out, but they got him a waterproof cast, and he can kind of do everything. And so hopefully, we get him back going, and in 4 weeks we'll pop that thing off, and he'll be good as new.
Yeah, so, like, when the first time I was down there, St. Pete, the very, very first time, I bought him those, hand strengthener things that all like, I think even Sam and Stan, like, it was a cool thing in the '70s, right? So they all, tough guys always just had him sitting around. So I told him to just work on his strengthening his hands. I mean, there's nothing else you can do.
He probably didn't do that. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why he's hurt.
it's a weird little fracture. We're gonna have to drink some more milk.
Yeah, milk does a body good. He is protein shake guy now like crazy, but
Yeah.
so he had to sit out his tournament last weekend. That was really hard on him to just kind of be there and feel like he needed to be helping his team. But I think sometimes injuries like this are good for a kid, especially like him, who has all the tools, has all the skills, but hasn't figured out how to put it all together. And so
Yeah.
this might be a really good thing for him of how do you become a leader through this? And hopefully then, you miss the game a little more. And he's only a seventh grader, so he's got plenty of time, but he thinks he's going to wrap the cast and play Thursday night in the game. And we were kind of like, you're an idiot. But I guess if I was
Yeah.
in that spot, I'd be doing the same.
And I was telling you, there's a million stories, obviously, from at every level. But I was Autumn Linen, who I was telling you about last year. The last year I coached at Ankeny, and you could just tell from like camp when she was Grayson's age and Bailey's age that she was just going to be a good softball player, right? And she was one of those kids that was, could hit, could do everything, but she just wasn't her. At the beginning of the year, I hadn't coached her, a full season, but she definitely had some injuries. And by the end of the year, she was just by our side the whole time listening. She was a quiet kid, different than Gracen, obviously. But, then by the end of the year, we probably faced one of the best pitchers in the modern era of high school softball. And she was the one that got kind of an angle down, a 2-strike angle down to the right side to get a run home, just by sitting out and just learning this isn't just go up, take a hack. She learned the game, knew her role. And it was a very simple execution skill, but at the biggest moment, she was ready for it. So that's injuries they're so hard on parents, I think, especially when they get to the even more meaningful level. But now with this influx of high school sports and every game and the 10 tournaments we got coming up and the amount of time we're missing, I think sometimes it is a blessing. But and this one wasn't like an overuse one, which sometimes those are a wake up call. This was just kind of a fluke deal. So
Yeah, this is I kept telling everybody just wuss. Like, it's just a wuss. Like, and it really wasn't. Like, I mean, it was actually pretty legit. But yeah, it was kind of funny to, go through it, and now he'll recover and be hopefully good to rock beyond
yeah,
that.
first half of that game, it was kind of like your sophomore year watching you against like Pekin. You're in the right spots and everything, but you just weren't fast enough to actually make a difference or had enough experience.
I think I was a freshman or sophomore in that game against Pekin, and I was playing like middle linebacker, and they were big and strong and physical. And
That was a dominant team.
yeah, and I think I even got marks on my hands from where like I was trying to make tackles, they were just running over me, just stepping on me and stuff. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that was, and I think a little bit of the same thing for him in this moment. It was like they're bigger, stronger, faster than him. And so I don't think when you get in those situations, you either react or you quit,
Yeah.
And so I think this is one of those things where, in that Peking game, it was a wake up call. I needed to get in the weight room.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, at that point I was like, okay, I think it's time to get in the weight room and get after it.
Something's going to have to happen. And naturally, obviously, you just progress anyway. You get stronger naturally and bigger and mature. But yeah, it's fun to see those moments when you're like, okay, I was like trying to chase down one of the Keeney boys at Carlisle my junior year. And I mean, I was pretty fast, and I was like, oh, I thought I took a good angle. He's a lot faster than I thought. I
He
still tell
gone.
him that I could outrun him now, I think, but man, yeah, you learn stuff pretty fast when when you're going against elite competition.
Other news too this week, we will have Bailey will be playing some St. Pete Elite softball, and hopefully we're playing like a mile down from our house at Madeira Beach.
Yeah.
But I don't know if maybe I can tell NSA through this. I don't think schedules are out. NSA softball, 12U, the 12U bracket, the 11U St. Pete Elite Carolina team would like to play at Madeira Beach.
What's this, Jill? Whatever. What are these guys
just on Facebook
saying how awesome you are?
How awesome Bailey is. But I was just pulling some highlights to talk about Madeira Beach. NSA softball needs to be at Madeira Beach. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's really close. That's a cool facility.
Yes, it is cool. Rock Park is a really cool one. So hopefully we can get that done and play there.
When we break down the analytics of our live viewers, do we have anybody in Florida live, or is it anybody in Florida actually watch this show live?
I don't know about live. I think it's definitely a rewatch. Corey Dickhouse, who we were making fun of last week, did actually watch the episode. Like Bailey made him watch it, I think, when she was in the car with him, and we were talking smack about him. So Corporate Corey, we got to talk a little smack about Corporate Corey. But check out the new St. Pete Elite lids.
Yeah.
So
why don't I have one of those? Do I got to do another Venmo to get that, or what?
Yeah, Venmo. Got to have Bailey's back. I should have her bag. Her new bag is sweet.
Yeah, I know. I want one of those bags.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, what else do we got? So we definitely got a little bit of Bailey playing, hopefully at Madeira Beach. Gracen with a broken buckle fracture, whatever the heck that thing is. Let's jump into some actual football. Let's rock. Schroeder Baseball bringing us the Iowa Football Coaches Association Player of the Week stuff this week. Actually, you're going to see a name change, folks. Schroeder Baseball will become Big Inning Baseball. It's already starting to happen on Facebook, and some of the changes, we'll have to get some new things rocking and rolling as Big Inning Baseball will start to take
Big
over
Inning
the world.
Baseball. Will it still be in cursive, or you got another brand idea? What are you doing there?
I think they're going to keep it pretty the same, but there will be some hopefully new things happening with Big Inning Baseball, but still the same service. You still call Jake Schroeder, you're going to get the best service in the world. So if you need something, Jake Schroeder's your guy. Baseball, softball, he's got you taken care of.
There you go.
All right.
Where's he at? Is he in Leon? Is he in Centerville? Is he in Bloomfield?
I believe he's in Sheraton.
Oh, Sheraton.
So Sheraton full time. But if you need something anywhere in the Bingham quadrant or outside of there in Leon, you can also get it.
That's on the fringes of the quadrant.
It is. But it's definitely fringe.
But yeah, you can get over to Lennox too. I mean, that counts.
All right. So the other stuff that we had, I was looking through some Iowa Football Coach Association stats. I was looking through Iowa High School Athletic Association stats. Let's jump right in. We're not even going to mess around.
Are we going to do rankings or what? I like how we have the RPI. I love the Radio Iowa stuff. Todd Kim does such a good job. You know, that was a really big thing back in the day. You know, when you worked in news full time, and I voted for the AP for years with Chucky, and I always took a lot of pride in that and really studied it. And you can tell Todd does, but I really like what the high school association does with this late release of this RPI. It's kind of fun.
So let's go. Where did you go Friday night? I think we've already talked enough about that, but let's see where you went.
Yeah, do you want me to bring it up?
Bring it up, baby.
Yeah, we can bring it up. I don't know if I brought up just did I bring up the whole first half, or did I bring up the whole game, or what do you want?
You bring up what you got.
Finds the end zone, 9-yard touchdown.
Yeah, here we go. So, we can kill the audio on it, but yeah, I think it was fun because you do get those people that are friends or on the fringe, and they're like, how are you related to the Bingham kid? And the Jax Bingham's also our relation, and this is Braylon, of course, thrown to the Kennedy kid who was healthy on offense, but I ISO'd on Jax. So we got another Bingham on the team. I should show it, but I don't have it.
Jax is tougher than Braylon, don't you think?
Yeah, let's put that out there right there. But
I would totally go for that.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think I don't think that Ogden's a bad football team at all. I think what happens sometimes in high school is you're going against a talented team and they come out and score on you, right away quick and put you on your heels. And, I think if Ogden takes care of the football and they've got that big back and they do some good things.
No way.
But Braylon was special. That 29-yard flick right there to Kennedy. And it was a really good catch, too. This was funny, though.
Is this Seneca Wallace?
Yeah. But he's explosive, but he just does a good job of seeing the field. And I think that's, watching Braylon at quarterback, too, just his feel for the game. But you can tell, Brandon, that he is not 100% like healthy.
No.
But this kid got one of the most tackles for the loss in the state, and he tracks him down. But Trojans played well. It was really a big win for them to play that well against a good team. And I don't know, from here, it looks pretty good. This situation where these classes have their extended playoffs. I love it that they play 8 weeks and they get to get more kids involved in the playoffs. So it's coming pretty fast.
It is.
To play that well against State Center and Ogden back to back, it says a lot in a field of 1A teams that is just loaded, because South Hardin's really good. They proved that against Grundy Center. But the 1A state title is running through Judd Jervosky, and he might be one of the most unique, talented individuals
Stanford, I believe,
in our state's history. We talked about it on the very first Two Brothers podcast, last year in November, that we're sniffing around like how good he was at golf, talking to the AD up there, but he's just a winner. And so they did a good job. South Hardin played him tough. So you're going to play a perfect game, turn the ball over to beat Grundy in 1A.
Yeah. I watch a lot of the Pleasantville stuff being, remote. I get to see a lot of the games still. And I was telling you after the Pleasantville game, I was like, Braylon just was there. Like, it wasn't like, and then all of a sudden you look at the highlights and it's like, holy cow, did he throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns and return one, 71 yards Seneca Wallace. And that's what's crazy about it, like a Braylon and a Judd Jervosky kid. Like, they're very similar, I think, on the field. Like, you're going to have a tough time beating those teams with those kids, especially in small school football.
Yeah. They just find a way. And I think it's unique. I think Judd and all the great quarterbacks that you see around the state, they know they have that maturity level too, to know when they can run, when they have to. You've seen it even in the NFL in the last few weeks when you watch the Jaguars Chiefs game, when I do have to and when I'm going to be safe and when I turn it up and when I elude tacklers to extend plays, because it's not such a big deal right now. But in a game where you're in control. But when the game's on the line, those kids know when to make plays, and they're just dangerous. And we've seen it for years. I was going through thinking about all those great quarterbacks, even the Vandenbergs, Brett Meyer, when we first started doing every game in the Dome, and just, Sneed. There's just so many kids. And they just knew when to do things. And there's a ton of them across our state right now. I mean, we're blessed with such great coaching with our football coaches, and then them relaying that stuff to these great athletes that play multiple sports and are going to be following in Tiger Woods' footsteps, maybe someday. I mean, that was the one thing that resonated when I talked to the AD, was just how good he was at golf. And not only was he playing against, for the win, he was playing to see how low he could go, and
you're talking Judd Jervosky up at Grundy Center here.
Yeah. I don't know if Braylon even golfs. Probably not.
He probably's good. You put a set of golf clubs like Caitlin Clark, the same way, like she's a good golfer. I think when you're competitive, I'm really good. I'm great at everything except for golf. But yeah, so give me what else you got Pleasantville wise. You got anything else good? You got a little week highlight of the week? You got a little Will graphic of the week? What do you got down?
Well, no, I just think as we talk about what we're doing and who we are, just moments that you can capture. This kid, really Stubbs kid, I think. I can't remember. Fernal kid.
It's probably Lawson Fernal.
It's a Fernal kid. He's a big fan of Braylon and what it means to him to actually, he got to be on the field, and we were giving him a hard time. But just the images that you can capture, on an evening that we do every Friday night that we're never able to share, because I really don't have time to like just sit there and post stuff all the time. But we got lots of tight shots and lots of slow-mos. This is, of course, Jesse just bringing it with just your regular warm-up shots. But I mean,
Pretty.
the actual shot of the night was actually mine. This was after I got done editing and everything, and before I went back over and started finishing the game, I got with Uncle Stan. So that's Braylon's grandpa on the left, and that's Brandon's dad, Dan Bingham from Pleasantville, right there in the middle. So went over and got a quick pic with him. But when you're working, you don't have time to really talk. But
when you have like the scratch and sniff graphics, I feel like this is you can see it, but you can hear the photo. Like you can just hear like they're all talking at once, and
yeah,
Dad and Dave both talking like over each other, and Stan's just yelling, "Defense!"
He was pretty relaxed. The game was out of hand, and boy, he's lost weight. Something's going on there. You know how your dad always says, "I've lost 5 pounds." He always says that. But I think Stan's actually lost some weight, so that's from following those boys around. And
I think they're both actually maybe healthier than they've been their whole life. That's the craziest part.
It's pretty cool.
Getting up there in age, though, both of them, it does, like, seeing all the Pleasantville stuff brings back so many memories for me. Like, I started, like, it was funny. I started thinking about, like, and I was talking to some kids the other day because Gracen was talking about football, and I was like, I had a 21 tackle game, and stuff like that. And then all I could hear when I said it out loud was, I had a 21 tackle game. Somebody was like, well, the other team scored 40. Like what happened? And then all I could hear was Dan Williams in the back of my head. You talk about a terrible thing to be hearing with Dan Williams. And Dan Williams was the original pile hopper.
Yeah.
So I don't think – so I was a sophomore when Dan was a senior. And so I was playing safety. Dan was playing, I think, linebacker at the time. Dan didn't make one tackle, but he led the team in tackles.
Yeah, and it depends on who's keeping track of those. And some people were smart enough to work with those people that kept track of tackles. And that was the thing I was just talking about Jax. Like he was in on every kick return. He was at the bottom of the pile, and he was always the last one up. So
Jax Bingham has a little Dan Williams. So that's exactly what Dan would do. He'd pile on the end of the pile, and then he would just kind of roll off and lay down there beside the ball carrier. So everybody'd stand up, and Dan would still be laying on the ground like, oh, what a tackle. He'd just be like stretching out and everything.
It's an art form. Because they probably give half tackles, don't they now? And
beyond art form for Dan Williams, the pile hopper. Dan Williams dated the stat girl every year.
Smart. Was this the play that Gracen got hurt or not?
I don't think that's not the one. That's actually a good tackle. He actually was wrapping up and throwing.
Yeah, his eyes are closed. That's what I think I did too. But
just close them. No, I liked hitting people. That was the one. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I did. I mean, that's why we're still doing
this. Is probably more like this photo here is probably more like pile hopper Dan Williams. Like he actually had to make the tackle, so he just like closed his eyes and hoped that his stat girl saw that it was a solo tackle, so he got a full one. But yeah, then my junior and senior year, I may have taken a recipe out of Dan's book, and my girlfriend was a stat keeper at the time too. So I then became pile hopper. I think that's how I had 21 tackles. That's how I made it all happen. But which is funny.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So let's walk into some. So I did some research.
Yeah.
Let's walk into some IFCA. Like if we had to do some midseason player of the year talk.
Let's don't go in any order. We were starting in 1A, and I mean, obviously, I think we covered the last 4 or 5 years we've been. The IFCA does such a great job at the end of the year putting together all state teams, and they name a captain, and it's kind of that regular season captain. It gives you a basis. But the thing I like about our award is we have them wait till after the postseason. I just think it adds so much to what happens at the Dome, because when you look at like Abu Sama and players like that, I mean, they're right in the mix for the player of the year all year, and then they do something special in the Dome. And so those are the kind of things like we don't know who these kids are. You can't project. And so you really got to look at the best teams and sometimes see what their kids, because there's some players that aren't on this list right now that'll do something special and maybe forge themselves into the running.
Here was my 1A notes. Garrett Lute from Underwood, Braylon Bingham from Pleasantville.
Yeah, Lute's
think those are similar players that if they get hot and they take their team to a championship, they're
Well,
definitely
Harder's the
right.
same way. I mean, Harder was the
Yep.
heart and soul for Tri Center, and you've got Yates. I don't know what's going to happen with Emmitsburg, but if they can continue to make some runs, but this 1A is
And
just going to be
and
so
South Arden, I
yeah.
mean, they played against what I think you have to argue is the team to beat. And they, took them to the wire. Playing
Preston
against
Welch
Penny Center.
he's a good player. So
Here's my final note on 1A. I said,
okay.
but it's Judge Jaworski's until someone takes it from him.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just the way it is. And even with that said, I mean, he could easily be the best player in 1A, regardless if they win it or not. I mean, Coach Sajak's just got so much going on there, and they've got such a streak. And the Van Meters, Pella, Solon, Regina, Dowling, all these, they've been through that. At some point, it ends with a great player, leading that way. That doesn't take away the fact that they still might be the best player in the class.
Yes. Let's go 8-player next.
Yeah. I got a dark horse. I got the
8
quarterback from Algona Garrigan, man. I'm just like,
you always have loved Algona Garrigan.
I do love Algona Garrigan. Why wouldn't
There's
you?
something about it's funny when you start seeing a team at the Dome, you start seeing a coach, you start seeing fans. I think you could move to Algona Garrigan and be just fine.
I would if I got kicked out of the house, I go coach softball up there and live in Algona. That's a cool town. It's got a lot of tradition, a lot of great stories, but they're big fans of the Friday Night Blitz, and
how do they even get the signal up there?
And we were talking about this with one of the interviews we were doing from a gentleman that was part of another project, and it's just that AIM station. Channel 5 started out as that AIM station that really, people even 15, 20 years older than me, they still think I work there. And then sometimes they'll say, how's Ames, and I'd never worked in Ames, but for some reason it's still, and we're up in Okoboji, sometimes it's still on the cable up there. So I think that's cool. But
talking about Ames got a win this week. We got to mention that.
Shout out to Parker and the kids at Ames High School. That was a Super Bowl moment for them. And that's the thing that I think that gets missed in all this, Brandon. We talk about the winning teams, and talking with Coach Winkler when they expanded the playoffs, a few years ago, I was like a little bit doubting it. And then you think about, even if you didn't play for a team that was a championship contender, just the ability to get in the playoffs and play against somebody really good and love the game and all the things that it gives you. That's the part that I think is awesome. And so what a great moment for those kids, even though they might not, win 3 or 4 games this year, just to have that on their resume.
Yeah, just to be able to compete in that situation is so cool. So, yeah. So, who's your kid from Algona Garrigan you like? You have a dark horse?
Yeah, he's just a leader, tough kid. He'll get things done. They've got plenty of good players on that roster, but you got to earmark one of them. But somebody else could jump into the mix.
So,
oh my gosh, there's a ton of them in there.
My 8 player is my favorite player right now in all of
Kriegel.
Nolan Kriegel.
What about the
38 touchdowns? Iowa Valley's undefeated. He's thrown for 8 at the quarterback position and ran for 26.
Yeah. There's a kid from our Weeva West Side though, that he returns kicks. He does everything that Wyatt Regler kid. I mean, he's putting up some major numbers. But yeah, Keegan Lee, our kid from Southeast Warren, the Ewing kid. Are we related to him? I don't know.
We've got to be some way. Yep, for sure.
He's got to have some Bingham Dittmer.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's hear it on the Facebook land. I'll look out there, see on the Facebook land if somebody says who the Ewing kid
is Jameson Ewing related to us somehow. He probably is, but
I saw we probably should grab some highlights. I saw Case Bishop was down there. We need to see some of that.
Yeah.
What that looked like. It was Southeast Warren Lennox. I think
Lennox got him. So when you got to deal with, those kind of things, you got to be careful. I mean, Lennox, they're not messing around.
But all right, let's go to A. I think potentially
we got a clear front runner, don't we? I mean, we thought we did, and now we got somebody else, don't we?
The best stat line probably in all of football has to be Bo Burns and BGM, but I think them making that move to Class A, 8-player might just be as tough, but it's got to be hard. We were talking about this week in Keswick. their JV
Yeah,
team
you
plays
guys
8
bounce.
player, and then their varsity plays 11. It is a different game, 100% different game. But you said that Coach Burns and BGM had made that transition really well, and so they've lost a couple games, but Poe Burns stat line stud, everything, right?
But the kid you got to watch out for is the Gordon kid. I mean,
Jackson Gordon.
he had like 400 yards in week 3 or something. I mean, he's on his way over 2,000. I mean, to break Wager's single season record of like 3,200 is almost impossible. And nobody's ever, well, I won't say ever, but
Not ever. Don't ever say ever.
The Levi Ferguson, all time rushing record is pretty impressive. But yeah, putting up some numbers. Old Jackson Gordon, keep an eye on him from Riverside.
So they did lose the trainer. I was going to go. I haven't pulled the stats. I'm going to go pull up Bound here later today, and I want to see the game against Trainer. Like, what did he do from a stat perspective in that game?
Yeah, still pretty good. I think he was close to
the
2 bills.
The other kid so I think Jackson Gordon's got to be in the running, and then the other
there's still a Wiggins and West Sioux. I mean, there's
Blake
Wiggins,
and they're undefeated.
Yeah, they got that kind of that magic back, and they're keep an eye on that. I mean, Wiggins, they've always got like 3 or 4 Wiggins up there.
I think the cool part too about this Iowa Football Coach Association Player of the Year is there may be some kids that were like unbelievable stats, unbelievable year, and then boom, they get to the Dome, and then it's going to be a clear-cut winner. Yeah. Like Blake Wiggins throws for 6 touchdowns against Algona Garrigan
or Britt or St. Ansgar. I mean,
like whomever, right?
Yeah, because the ACGC's got the Crawford kid. There's a Bixel at Britt, West Hancock that he'll just be tougher than nails, and they've got all kinds of a good.
Somebody's one of those really good teams going to come across Madrid in a quarterfinal game. Like there's going to be some really good football to be played in the playoffs, and I think the cream will rise to the top.
Yeah. So I mean, and you're talking about Britt and MMCRUW. I mean, there's some teams out there that I really thought it was interesting when it came out because I just think Brits and St. Ansgar are 1-2, and I don't even know if they're probably the same program. I don't even know if they have to play each other. It looks like a scrimmage, but MMCRU is on the high school association side, which is cool, are top of the standings. So there's some 6-0s. There's a lot of 6-0s in A.
Yeah, there's some good football teams up there. The other thing too that I was looking at then 2A was the one I could not pick a kid.
Yeah,
like they're just so I had when I started looking at it.
You didn't like the kid from Bellevue? I mean, we're on the Bellevue bandwagon right now.
I loved Cal Boniface.
Boniface looks like he's putting up some numbers.
Yes, he definitely was on my list that I put. I had like 5 kids that I pulled real quick today when I was going through stats. I had Quinn Street from Osage.
Yeah,
he's Cal Boniface from Bellevue.
Yeah, Street's numbers are ridiculous.
Yes, very ridiculous. And then I had the Brock Batting kid from Kemper Catholic.
He's got so many weapons, and he actually we're going to talk about Heitland and some of those kids coming up, but he is one of those that just understands what to do in the right situation, and he's not going to run unless he has to. And they've got great running back and Vanami on the outside. I mean, they're going to be a factor. Coach, when we went there a couple of weeks ago, Ryan knows what he has, and that quarterback has been there. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and then I had Judah Locke, a Grandview Christian kid that's and he was a nice baseball player too. We saw him play baseball actually against Pleasantville this year. And then, Chase Wagaman from Prairie City Monroe. Like, that's a team I don't think a lot of people expected to be as good as they are, but holy cow, like, they're just getting it done.
Yeah, there's an Ehrenfeld kid from Mid Prairie. I mean, there's a couple of studs out there. Jaden Nathan from West Burlington. I've got a short list, but it will be, what do they do against the big schools, and how far do they take these programs that will maybe stamp them? Did you say anything about the Lake and Caves kid? Just a junior from Alburnett?
Yeah, I didn't say anything about him yet, but another kid and anybody from Alburnet's got to be great, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that was kind of 2A. 3A, I think, is fun too, because I think my preseason favorite was Kellen Haverback from Mount Vernon.
He's
But
so good.
he just looks the part. Like
Yeah.
when you just see him, you're like, pro quarterback.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy. And so, I love your digitization that's going on behind you.
Oh,
Check
yeah.
that out.
I should have stopped the tape. I will. You keep talking.
Yeah, what are you doing
I
there?
forgot to stop the tape, man.
Come on, man. For people that don't know, Dave is taking old tapes and putting them into digital format. And so the old tape was glitched up there. That's what was
Yeah.
happening there.
Well, as soon as the tape ends, it rewinds. You know that.
So
No, but there's a ton of them because we've got Campman, we've got Kruko, the kid from Central DeWitt, and Thomas. I think is one of the best known players in the state up at Heelan, and I think Heelan is on a march to get back to the Dome.
I agree. And I think he's like 15 touchdowns from that running back position. So Cason Thomas is probably the guy that's starting to move up the list. Kellen Haverback, from Mount Vernon. But when Solon and Eli Campman beat him, I think then do you immediately say Campman's better? I don't know that you can truly say a team game. They're still going to be great players, but then is this the MVP of their team? And I think ultimately what this one does, the 3A race, comes down to who makes it to the Dome.
Yeah, and how well they play. I was talking about the Mozdam kid up at MOC, and they'll have some work to do to get there, but I just love seeing that name and seeing what he can do. So, and all around
So you
player.
think this is like your roommate's kid?
Well, yeah. I mean, so Mozzie was up at Northwestern when I was. He was a state championship quarterback at Sully, and yeah, we should have beat him our senior year, but because we lost to an A team, it killed us and we couldn't get in the playoffs. So still, but great kid. We had a lot of fun. We played baseball together too, and I got to double check and see if this has got to be I got to do some research. But
Yeah,
Mozzie's the kind of guy that probably doesn't have a phone. Like,
yeah, you got to call somebody.
I don't think he's probably not on Facebook. He probably doesn't. He just has a landline.
So if you needed to get a hold of somebody, don't you think you could just call the Caseys in that community and ask them?
Yeah. I just called the
Maybe
city.
we'll do that. We'll do that live on the next show.
That should be. I'll call like the city office at.
No, you got to call the Caseys. Like the city office wouldn't know.
The Pizza Ranch. I could just call Coach DeYoung up at. He'd help me out. Lauren would let me know right away.
That's awesome. So let's go 4A.
Maybe I'll text him right now.
Since we're huge in Newton. I think we got to go Caden Klein and Newton in the running for sure.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And you love him.
Oh, and he wasn't even healthy, I don't think, all the way. A possible West Point commit. He's got the offer, and he's just one of those multifaceted. In the year before when we saw him, he was so explosive, and he's nursing an injury right now, a leg injury, but he might be getting it back for them to beat Pella. I'm sure he played really well, but they got weapons. They got the Miller kid, and they got all kinds of weapons. So
what a nice win though, Newton to go beat Pella. That's a big W.
Yeah, I mean 4A is kind of crazy. I mean, when you look at, I was looking at the Radio Iowa rankings. I mean, I think the Parks kid from Xavier is, on his way, and Sergeant Bluff-Luton's just loaded with kids. But when they're the Radio Iowa people have Xavier, SBL, North Polk, ADM, but the high school association had Xavier, SBL, Gilbert's up there in their RPI stuff, and it's cool to see Decorah there too. But I really like the just the name Cash Parks. That's what I'm thinking of.
Cash Parks from Xavier.
I just love that name. So he's kind of one of the front runners. Deers will still be in it, kid from Pella. I mean, he's
and I think Pella could make a run, and then I had the Hudson Shoal kid from ADM. I think you got to put him in. ADM is always tough. Can they, get it done? That's a kid. I had the Stitzman kid from Lamar's, Jamie Stitzman, I believe, from Lamar's, and anybody that comes from, the Blue Bunny factory, like you got to put Lamar's in the running. Cash Parks from Xavier. Had Keyshawn Wilden from Burlington. He's got 15 touchdowns rushing. That would be a fun, seeing Burlington at the Dome would be fun. Seeing somebody like that would be really cool and different.
Yeah. The Doss kid's just a sophomore at Lewis Central. They're struggling a little bit, but he looks like a great player. And then Scott Reed Jr., the kid from Glenwood, and it looks like Carter Rex Carlson future all-stars in the house. You want to come live on the podcast, buddy?
You need him.
Say hi, Brandon.
Can he talk 5A?
Can you talk
Carter.
5A football?
I talk 5A football.
Yeah, he'll talk.
Yeah,
5A football.
who's your favorite in 5A?
Who's your favorite team?
Oh, you know what you had on your phone earlier? Show them what you have on your phone.
What was it that I had on my phone?
You had the monster trucks.
Oh, hey, Carter, come here real quick. You want to go do this? Come here, buddy. Are we going to go do that again at the Casey Center?
Should we do monster trucks?
He's way out.
Oh my hero.
Yeah, so Kathleen, his mom, works at Casey's, and we went to the Monster Jam last year. So, yeah, we're going to do it again.
Yeah, corporate Kathleen better take care of that.
Well, that's his first appearance on a live program. I don't know if mom and dad approved. He's messing with the blitz football now, but yeah. So we wrapped up 4A. We're into 5A.
We're into 5A. And 5A, the first kid I had, I believe you're going to go see live and in person this week.
Isn't that going to be fun? Getting to pick the matchups. And so Southeast Polk, Brandon, that first year we did Dome Dynasty, one of the years we did Dome Dynasty, the year we did it with them, they played at Waukee Northwest. That was their first year of football. And they were competitive. Kapatich had them. I was just mesmerized at how ready they were for the moment. And so they've been knocking on the door, getting better. And obviously they're the cream of the crop right now, ranked number 1 in pretty much every ranking that you have out there. But the Heightland kid's pretty special. But since that game, Polk hasn't done anything but win a championship since they started 5A football in Iowa.
All they do is win. Grundy
so
Center, Southeast Polk.
We're bringing Selby to the game. I don't think he's going to do it play by play, but he's coming. So that'll be really cool. And I think 5A, obviously, I think it's a really interesting. If Northwest wins or loses this game, I don't think it impacts what they can or can't do. I think sometimes just playing this competition teaches some lessons that might set them up for a bigger stage. But no mistake that Johnston, Dowling, Valley, this is such an even. I mean, it is just the Ankeny schools can whip you, and when it gets cold out, you don't want to mess with Centennial right now with the Morgan kid and Laramie at Ankeny. They'll be able to run the ball. But this is a loaded field, and we haven't even talked about all the power in the eastern side of the state. There's a clear favorite for the player of the year at Liberty, don't you think?
Yeah. So I had Mac Heitland, seeing him live and in person would be cool, but then coaches are even telling us the best player that they've played against this year is Reese Riddick.
Well, he just if you got to see him in person. He's just one of those little bitty tough SOBs, and he understands the game. And Chandler is just, and at some point on our socials, I'm going to post a interview that we did with Coach Chandler last year at the IFCA banquet. I've been kind of saving it, but it's just so cool that these guys come down and, play in the NFL, do all the things that they've done in their life and work with kids. But this kid is special, and he's a handful. He's a pain in the butt. I mean, you could not figure out, he's hard to defend. So, there's a lot of, the Manson kid at West. There's some players.
Yeah, I had like Joey Nahas at Dowling, Cal Jepson at Sioux City East. You talked about Morgan and Laramie, both running backs at Ankeny Centennial and Ankeny High. Like both of those kids are players.
Laramie's really coming on strong too, and that's what's weird is we've had beautiful weather. It's been absolutely perfect, and then when you get to the Dome, it's perfect too. And that's what's really fun is we watched. Even like Brett Meyer and some of those kids, as they go through the process, it's tough to get to the Dome, but then once you get there, then it's all back. You got the whole game, and the game can speed up again. But you've got to get through those games. And Pella lost to Brett Meyer in a tough game back in 2002 that could have started their run way earlier, but it didn't. And things happen for a reason. They're tough, but you don't want to play some of these teams in the Dome, but you don't want to play you don't want to play Madrid. You don't want to play Ankeny Centennial. You just don't want to play some of these teams. You want to play Emmitsburg. You don't want to play, Appleton Park. You don't want to play those teams before the Dome because Britt and St. Ansgar always get there because they're going to get you outside in November.
Yeah, they're just going to knock you in the forehead, and they're going to just keep on trucking. So I think the cool thing about this Iowa Football Coach Association Player of the Year award is ultimately it's voted on by coaches. And so we can talk about some of these kids and everything, but these coaches see these kids every day.
Mhm.
They see them every Friday, and they're ultimately going to be the ones to say that kid is the player of the year.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's what's going to be fun. And going to ultimately, it doesn't matter what they're going to see a lot of those kids at the end of the year. And that is the best kid that took his team to a title. And that's why he is the player of the year. So it's going to be
Yep.
pretty fun. Also, I think when you see, we've talked about it, when we talk about all these kids, but there's no clear front runner in probably any class at this point. I think that goes to say the parity in high school football right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And
parity.
and the playoffs are going to be wide open. Like, I don't even think some of the best teams make it to the dome from exactly what we've just been talking about. So it's going to be an amazing 2 months here as we run all the way, the amazing next month. Now,
Yeah, I think my final thought is, will we see a tri-center, like we did last year? That was a really amazing story, what they were able to accomplish. And to try to do that back to back, they're finding out is hard, but they're still going to be tough to deal with at the end of the year here.
Yeah, there will be a couple tri-centers that'll make it to at least the quarters and semis, right? Like,
Yeah.
but can they truly get over the hump and get it done? I don't know. So last couple things I had, and then it's Carter Rex time. So I had, let's wrap the Football Coach Association. Let's move into, so the craziest thing happened this week in sprint car racing.
Okay.
So Sheldon Hodenshield wins National Open in Williams Grove. Like, I would say top 5 race. In
How
the
old's
country.
Sheldon now? Because he seems like he's young, but he's not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is. If he's 30, or if he's a little older
Yeah.
than that. But he's been around forever. He's been
Yeah.
around for 10 plus years in the racing world. And he's just flirted with success, like where he just goes through these spurts where he's the best car, the best driver on the track every night. And then all of a sudden he'll destroy a race car leading or running third trying to win. And
Yeah.
they always say in racing there's like the low line, there's the high line, and then there's the hard line. And the hard line, you
Well,
just never know. And so
Jack would run that. I just got to bring up Bobby Allen, one of the greatest nationals I ever saw. He passed away recently, and I saw that information. And with him going against Blaney and Kinzer and that stacked field and those guys racing up high and him just catfishing it down low and just staying low and getting that nationals win, that's one of the best moments of my racing life, being there. I was with Rob Adrian in the pits, I think.
And I think it's one of the cool things that everybody, the way the outpouring of social media sometimes can be really negative, but when somebody who's just loved like a Bobby Allen, it's kind of a uniting thing.
Yeah.
And so, you just see it on social media, everybody with their Bobby Allen stories. And, I kind of just sit and watched and listened to a lot of those this week, which was really interesting that, how impactful he was,
Yeah,
the
the
legend he
connection.
truly is. Yeah, the connection he made with young, old, everything. I think a lot of that 1990 Nationals win,
Gives me
fueled a lot of,
goosebumps.
which, is kind of like brings me full circle, back to this. Sheldon Hodenshield wins the National Open Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Sheldon Hodenshield and crew chief Kyle Ripper have already said they're going somewhere else next year. They're not staying with Stenhouse Jr. and Marshall Racing. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Richard Marshall own the car that Sheldon Hodenshield currently drives. So you'd think he's in like the best equipment, the best everything. Well, Sheldon has already said he's going somewhere new next year, so they're going to have to put together a new team. His crew chief Kyle Ripper has been with him for 6+ years.
Jeez.
Kyle Ripper is going with him as well. Ripper is now, quote unquote, he's a quadrant guy.
Yeah.
So he's a Knoxville guy. So we've claimed him. He's part of the Binger quadrant now. And so Ripper's just crazy. Like, there's no other way of putting Ripper. Like, he is the sprint car crew chief. He's the guy you would want to like take the dingus with you.
Like the Leonard McCarl guy. Like,
yeah, he's
that good.
He's the guy that you take to the state fair with you. He's just that guy. He's the Iowa guy, basically. He's not an Iowa guy, but he's an Iowa guy. And so then I saw Sunday that he got fired.
What?
Like, yeah, so they win the biggest race that they've won probably in his career.
This is WWE?
Dude gets fired Sunday morning. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how's that even possible? And, then some, like, the rumor mill started going crazy, that they took the keys from him. Like, he didn't even get to pull the hauler out of the pit area or wherever he was at. Like, dude was still asleep in the hauler when they, like, fired him. Like, he wouldn't even answer the call from Ricky Stenhouse. Like, all the fun things, and I can just hear and see if Ripper's listening or watching this, he's just smiling because it's such a Ripper story. He gets fired after the biggest win of his career, probably. And so, he's just see you later. And then, like, the next photo I see on social media is him in a hot tub with Danny Dietrich. Like, Ripper's on my crew this week, and it was awesome social media and, just fun stuff. But it sounded like, then I heard Ricky Stenhouse actually did a really, really nice job today. They had like a full report, like him and Connor Wade, who does the Dirt Vision broadcast for World Outlaws. They did a really cool, like, what happened? Walk us through it, Ricky Stenhouse. And Stenhouse walked through the whole thing. And, their new crew chief became available, and Kyle Pruitt, who's a Shark Racing guy, is now going to be the crew chief for Sheldon the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And so they had planned on cutting ties with Ripper on Sunday, no matter what. It's just, he kind of won this big race, and it kind of made it a little awkward. And I'm guessing Ripper partied it up a little bit and was still asleep in the hauler. And so I think they stole the keys from him. So just awesome. Like, that is what makes sprint car racing great. It's just the people, the stories, the emotions. And now Ripper has this folklore story. So, like, when him and Sheldon win the nationals here in the next, couple years, they're going to be talking about it. And I do think Sheldon and Ripper win the nationals for an Iowa-based car.
Okay.
I think that's happening. I'm not sure, but looks like that could happen next year, which will be even more fun.
That's crazy that it just that stuff just continues, and it's like just like any other business, but those people are all so connected, and it all makes sense to them.
Oh, 100%. All right. So the last thing I have, my wife might de-own me for even posting this or even sharing this, but we saw this the other night, and it was
Fire it.
Here we go.
What in the heck?
Lord have mercy.
She failed. Ha ha.
Ruby, you're
so here it is.
Where is this at?
So it's called Weber Valley Speedway, and this is all fake. Like, everything is completely fake. Everything is AI generated. This track just randomly posts stuff all the time about their racetrack. And so it was.
So they just went into Google VO and said, "Hey, let's do this."
Yeah, create this. And me and Gracen were just like, and he was kind of down and out the other night, Monday night, and I saw this. And we watched this probably 50 times, and we couldn't stop laughing. And Angel was like, "What are you idiots doing?" Like, she was just so mad that we were watching this video. And now I'm going to let the world watch it. She'll be even more. She's probably going to break in here in a second, de-own us. But so the post was, Mildred Tucker is the winner of the free Weber Valley t-shirt tonight, which was delivered to her at point blank range from the t-shirt cannon. Congratulations, Mildred.
So
ready?
Fire it.
Here we go.
So did they?
Lord
did they-
have mercy.
She failed. Ha ha.
Ruby, you're
Get her up. Get her up. She's laughing.
ready?
Fire it.
Here we go.
So they just found a
Lord have
clip of
mercy.
somebody falling down. And
Ha ha.
Ruby, you're
did they have to go do the AI?
ready?
Fire it.
Here we go.
Lord have mercy.
She failed. Ha ha.
So you
No,
and
I'm-
Gracen have a terrible sense of humor, I think.
Yes. But, like, I'm not alone. There's 161,000 likes on this video.
Yeah.
There's 35.6 thousand comments. Like, but if you actually get in and you start dissecting pieces of this video, it gets funnier. Like, so watch two things here for me. Watch the guy in the red hat beside her.
Ruby, you're
Get her up. Get her up. She's laughing.
So he's
Fire it.
Here we go.
Oh,
He's acting
Lord
for
have
this.
mercy.
She failed.
I think it's all just AI
Get her up,
generated
get
the
her up.
reaction.
She laughing.
Ready?
Fire it.
And now watch the actual t-shirt cannon guy. Watch his reaction when he shoots it. Like,
Here we go.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
She
You
failed.
okay?
Ha ha.
Ruby yard.
Get her up, get her up. She laughing.
Ready?
Fire it.
Here we go.
So how
And
did
then-
they? So did they just put it in Chat GPT or did they put it like Google VO and?
I don't know, but just like crazy. And, so many people, I'm sure, believe this to be real.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so this just an account trying to have fun and do silly things to make people smile. But like, people thinking this is real. And then it's just crazy, like how much reality they brought into it, like the real stuff after it of, Miss Ruby, you okay? Get her up, get her up, get her
Yeah,
up. Like,
no
there's
kidding.
just so much happening.
Yeah, I could see how you could orchestrate that by shooting something by giving them, hey, we're going to do this video, insert somebody, getting hit by this t-shirt gun. I mean, it's crazy.
What else you got for this week? I got nothing else after Ripper getting fired, winning, and the t-shirt gun lady. You had some threads of the week. We didn't hit threads of the week.
Well, yeah,
What was
threads of the
that?
week. You always bring that into the program, and one of the things I was thinking about was as we start to work with the different marketing groups that we've been funneling into. I love the John Gruden stuff so much. I don't watch it, but when I do see it, it just makes me smile. So I was going to challenge any AD out there or any coach to, maybe send us a box that we would open live on the air because I have so many people out there. So if they want to send me something, the thing that I'm concerned about is usually you wear that stupid Tampa Bay Devil Rays shirt all the time, and so I don't know if you're a 2X or whatever, but I'm knowing like Butch might have something laying around. But if somebody would just send something, we'd either send that box to you or to me. But if they have something that they want to send, we could start, honoring their team and giving their team some love out there. It could be a college, it could be a school, it could be a show choir. I don't care, but send Brandon some 2X thing for you to wear on the air and we'll open it, live on the air. But, they can send me anything they want. I'll open it as well. But to give school some love, that might be something that would be really good. So if they want to send it to me, all I gotta do is text me and I'll send them the address. But that would be cool to get you in something different other than your Tampa Bay Rays.
I kind of like my Tampa Bay stuff here lately. I'm still an Orioles fan, but this weekend I had a good conversation with Bill Walsh and the Tampa Bay Rays. So like I'm starting to come around to the Tampa Bay Rays. But yeah, threads of the game, it has to be the all black Pleasantville Trojans. Like those uniforms are just sweet.
They look pretty good. I mean, there's still a lot of extra fancy, stuff on the sleeves and everything, but yeah, we'll go with it.
Yeah, so if you're out there in Facebook land and YouTube land and wherever, like comment, send us a private message. You've got gear for Dave. He'll unbox it. He'll open it. Do his best John Gruden.
Yeah,
And we'll get you on the podcast. That would be
that'd
pretty
be
awesome.
great. Get you some pub. Yeah, we've got lots of big things coming. That's for sure.
Lots of amazing things down the road as we keep pushing forward. But you'll be at Southeast Polk, so the Fighting Brad Zelinoviches.
It's Kopatich and the boys. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Really, we haven't been in. We've done one 5A game early in the year, Dowling Valley, both solid, but it'll be fun to see the measuring stick of these two CIML teams heading into the latter part of the season here, week 7, baby.
All right, let's get after it. See ya.
See ya.